been trying to live a more or less minimalist lifestyle for about a decade by now, and what I've realized recently is that most of the time I was forced to live like that. Forced by circumstances or by my own beliefs and a desire to fit in a certain box that I thought was good for me at the moment. And the more I think, the more I question my choices and the reasoning behind them, the more tired I grow from all the boxes and labels and categories that I had to shape myself into to become more digestible and understandable, not even for other people only, but for my own self. So in today's video, I'll share with you why I think I cannot call myself a minimalist anymore and what I've learned from this realization. I'll also talk about why we humans are always so drawn to extremes, but at the same time, we crave balance and moderation, and what the desire to click on the videos like extreme minimalism or I buy nothing or I've sold everything tells about us. If you're new here, welcome, I'm Anna, and this channel is about the gentle philosophy of finding and nourishing your true self through meaningful ideas, relationships, and things. And if you are already a friend of this channel, I'm so glad to have your company again. So, let me show you something. These are all the clothes that I have now, and it's much more than I had a year ago, for example, when I had to fit everything, all my belongings, into just a suitcase and a day pack. This is the basket with my current craft projects, and there are more than 2 of them there. By the way, in the Patreon video this week, I'm sharing everything that I've made recently, and if you want to join a kind and inspiring community, the link will be down below. These are physical books that I have, and I'd love to get some more eventually. This is a new mug that I recently bought just because I wanted, and totally neglected the fact that I already had this one. I have a whole Pinterest board with ideas for our future home, although I have no clue when we'll have it, but I know that my work desk and creative nook will be far from minimalist aesthetics. There will be things there, things that inspire me without overwhelming. And that's why if we talk names, terms, or categories, I don't think I'm a minimalist anymore. Colors, textures, meanings, and memories behind objects, these all complement my everyday life. And now, thanks to the minimalist experience that I had, I know the fine line that lies between having enough and having too much. All the changes that I see in my mindset right now made me think, why are we so drawn to extremes? Why do we want to belong to a certain clearly defined group? Why we are so afraid of fluidity, of uncertainty, of experimenting outside the currently acceptable or, trendy movements or ideas? And let me warn you, you might not like the possible answer or answers because they are challenging. The first reason why extreme opinions are so popular is black and white thinking. It's a cognitive bias, meaning that people tend to oversimplify complex ideas and phenomena in order to divide them into just 2 categories: right or wrong, good or bad, black and white. And this approach makes life so much easier, predictable, and controllable. And in terms of minimalism, this black and white thinking is perceived like having less possessions is good and having more possessions, a lot of possessions, is bad. There is nothing in between. The in-between thing is called essentialism, but it's a totally different ism. And as I'm here not to judge anyone, I'm here to dissect ruthlessly my own beliefs. I do admit that there were times when I would fall into this black and white thinking, and very often not out of the necessity, but because I just wanted to be considered a minimalist. This brings me to the second reason, which is echo chamber. Modern social media algorithms are a blessing and the worst curse at once. On the one hand, we are continuously fed the content that we really like to consume, and it's very comforting. There is no more need for some extra time-consuming search. But on the other hand, we end up being locked in an echo chamber for one. In a nutshell, an echo chamber is an environment where a person only encounters information and opinions that reflect and reinforce their own. So you see what happens? It turns into a frightening mirror corridor with no way out. And this is exactly what happened to me. I watched content about minimalism. I made content about minimalism. I got engaged into discussions about minimalism, and it often felt very suffocating and limiting, dare I admit. The thing is that echo chambers eventually become lockers with no fresh air, with no space to stretch the legs and to try new waters. The third reason why we are so drawn to extreme ideas are fear and uncertainty. The foundation of so many phenomena and movements in our modern world. Believing in something very precise and clear and strong empowers us and makes us feel better equipped against the frightening reality that we have to face every given day. I definitely used minimalism to cope with my anxiety and fear of uncertainty, and it helped me a lot. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to bash minimalism here, I'm just inviting you to think together. I do believe that minimalism is a wonderful solution for those who are seeking for some new meanings or some old and forgotten meanings or purpose. When you have less possessions, when you get rid of what you think is no longer serving you, you can see yourself more clearly. You can see who you are, what you really want, what you really need, and notice which desires are truly yours and which ones were imposed by someone else. But is it a box to be stuck in forever? I don't think so. Just as it is with all other terms and isms and ideologies and schemes and systems, minimalism is just a sign on the road, not the point of destination. And of course, please remember my favorite disclaimer here that I voice only my own personal opinion based on my personal experience, and it doesn't have to be identical to yours. The financial insecurity that so many of us are facing all over the globe is horrifying. We realize the need to reconsider our priorities, to change our spending and saving behavior, to hope for the best, but to prepare for the worst. And given all this, of course, minimalism is on the rise again, together with its younger yet same-looking sibling, the underconsumption core. I'm still a huge fan of YouTube, I watch it a lot, but there are days when I'm really perplexed by the number of same-looking and same-titled videos that I'm suggested on the homepage, where I still go, not just to my subscription feed, but I just want to explore more, and I'm amazed. Again, hello to algorithm. When I was in my late teen years, I had a friend who had a brilliant term of her own invention. It was similar diversity. That's how she used to characterize people who we met on our long walks in the small Siberian city where we lived. And citizens of that city, although being completely different humans, of course, looked the same, thought the same, acted almost the same, and strived for the same. And it is this similar diversity that is flourishing now, don't you think? With all the isms, trends, and cores being so overly popular. So I don't think I can call myself a minimalist anymore, and if I'm honest, I don't think that I can call myself an essentialist either, because in certain areas of my life I realized that I need more than just essentials, and I mean my creative endeavors, for example. If a new term was needed, if a new term could be invented, I would dare suggest such a term as authenticism, when it's all about choosing yourself with your own truths, your beliefs, your needs, your challenges, your talents, and your quirks, after all. I don't think that authenticism can be turned into something extreme, because our otherness cannot be quantified or amplified, after all. I will of course continue making videos about intentional consumption, about a thoughtful and sustainable approach to living and owning things, because these are very important values of mine and I want to share my ideas about them with you. So let me know what you think about this rant, whether you agree or strongly disagree, or maybe you've been following me just for the content of minimalism. Now I'm very curious to read what you have to say, but please don't forget to be respectful and kind. Thank you so much for your time and attention, dear friends, and as always, huge thanks to everyone who supports my work on Patreon and other tipping platforms. It is only thanks to you that this channel exists and my voice is heard. And for now, as always, be safe and keep your heart open, and I will see you soon. Пока-пока!